Welcome to 30 lessons about wellness and manifestation I wish I knew sooner. Kicking it off with number one, the misconception of calories. Now, if you took a handful of cashews and half an avocado, which contains around 250 calories, but then there's a Mars bar that also contains similar caloric intake. I actually think it's about 225. So people might be looking at that and thinking, oh, well, I might as well just have the Mars bar then because it's slightly less. What people don't know is that your body digests the cashews and the half avocado a lot better than it does the Mars bar. You're much more likely going to absorb the sugars and the saturated fats from the Mars bar compared to what's in the avocado and the nuts. So calories are not created equal, and a lot of countries have the traffic light labeling. So, if you look at the packet, it might have a bright green on it, which means go. So it's healthy. But a pack of cashews is going to have red on it because it's high in fats. However, that is not something to deter you away from eating it because it's highly nourishing, it's a whole food, and it's going to really support your long-term health goals. Number two, rejection is redirection. Now, I'm going to tell you a short story about a good few years ago, way before I was a full-time nutrition coach, when I was kind of breaking away from working full-time in corporate and I started to get some freelance clients in marketing. I landed a role with a nutrition coaching company whilst I was studying nutrition, doing their social media and their marketing. It was going really well. There was potential for me to progress in the company and become one of their nutrition coaches when I was qualified. And I absolutely loved it. And I thought it was just the stars had aligned. Out of the blue, they let me go with 2 weeks notice. Obviously, you're a freelancer, you don't have that much security protection. And I was absolutely devastated. And I thought the whole world was ending. I thought nothing else was going to come about that was that suitable for me, but how wrong I was. Within about 2 weeks, I landed a role with a online fitness and retreats company who I ended up working with for 2 years, over 2 years. And it was so imperative to my whole journey. I learned so much. I worked with them in marketing, but also in nutrition as well. And it really helped develop my skills in those areas. So the moral of the story is, in the moment when you feel rejected or you feel disappointed, just know that behind the scenes, the universe is working on something for you bigger and better. Number three, building muscle takes time, especially if you're trying to build those big muscle groups like your glutes. Now, I have gone through this journey and, I've had certain aesthetic goals in the past. And when I look back at photos of my body years ago, I wouldn't say that I haven't drastically changed in weight, but my body just looks like very much firmer and like more toned over the years. And that is just testament to the fact that of just weight training and just being consistent with it. Now, if you have a goal like building your glutes, this is going to take years. So you might as well try and just enjoy the process as much as possible and look at building muscle or getting toned as a long-term journey and a lifestyle, not just instant gratification. So building muscle takes time, making sure you're fueling yourself right, being consistent, working the same muscle groups week after week, not just doing random workouts. This is going to be imperative to your success in building strong, lean muscle. Number four, you cannot out-supplement a bad diet. Now, I've seen this time and time again with clients that come to me with, they're taking an abundance of supplements and they're shocked when I'm like, no, all you need to take is 2 out of the 10 you're taking. Or my dad, for example, bless his heart, is not the healthiest person, but saw a reel about a beetroot supplement and said that it's going to cure all his joint pain, it's going to help his airways. And I had to say to him, let's just focus on your diet first. But he's not prepared to make those changes. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching. But people are looking for that instant quick fix. You cannot out-supplement a bad diet. If you're looking at that silver bullet that you think is going to solve all your digestive problems, that probiotic that's going to solve everything and make you feel great, the likelihood is it isn't. And if you're having digestive problems, you might not even be absorbing the nutrients from food, let alone supplements. So actually, working with a nutritionist, healing up that gut lining and working with food not supplements, is always the way to go. Do not waste your money. You cannot out supplement a bad diet. You can only get so far on your own. I have been very open and honest over the years of how much I've invested in terms of coaching and education, and it's in the rounds of between £30,000 to £40,000, and I don't regret one penny of that. And also, what I will say is, every time I made that big investment, the money wasn't just sat there, right? I had to make it work. I had to borrow. I had to pay myself back. I had to make it work, because I now sat here, working fully by myself, for myself, living in Dubai, like living on my own. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all those leaps I took and for asking for help and, learning from other people. I will always be a student, and I stand by that. I think everyone deserves or should have a coach or a mentor or someone in their corner, whether it's in a small way or it's in a big way, like mentorship. But if you are struggling and you feel like you're not making progress in a certain area, there is someone out there that will be able to get you there much quicker, much more efficiently. So you can leave it to them and focus on what you're good at, focus on your career, your, being a mum, busy life, instead of having to have this burden, this overwhelm of trying to navigate all your. 6, your words are your wand. Now, what do I mean by this? Everything you say about money, about your job, about your environment, about the economy, about people, about colleagues, about friends, about family, you are projecting onto the universe more of what you don't want. The universe is listening. Every single cell in your body is listening. So your words are your wand, meaning, and also the word spelling as well, like that is a spell. You are putting a spell out there. We want to be very cautious in how we use our words and come up with some positive reframes. So a classic example of this is, instead of "I can't afford it," "I'm not prioritizing this right now," or "This is so hard. I'm finding this challenging, but I'm enjoying the journey," or lots of different things, like "I can't believe that happened to me. What is this teaching me?" Really trying to reframe your mindset into a positive direction, because trust me, the more you put out that's negative, the more of that you're going to bring back to you. So be careful how you use your words. Number 7, starving yourself through fasting is not discipline. This is coming from someone who used to fast until midday. I would have done a big workout, surviving on black coffee, and forcing myself not to eat in the pursuit of body goals, or because, it was a trend and everyone said that it was the best thing to do. Don't get me wrong, fasting does have its benefits. However, it should be carefully controlled, working with a practitioner like myself, not just doing it day in, day out, especially as women, because you are likely wrecking your hormones. In general, women should be eating in the morning. And I say women because men can be slightly more flexible and they tend to actually operate better through fasting than women. But we are very, very sensitive. So it's not discipline. It's actually dysregulating your body and your hormones. Number 8, letting go of body comparison and understanding that some things are just genetics. So an example of this is, I naturally have quite a slim waist and a flat stomach, but I do tend to carry more weight in my legs and sometimes around my arms. So I just kind of had to accept that about me, okay? I also have quite fine hair, but I would love to I'm never going to have thick, luscious hair unless I get extensions. I just have to accept that these are just parts about me, but I also have really clear skin, which I'm really proud of and confident in. So, and I can wear makeup without worrying. So my lesson or my message to you is to embrace what you love about yourself and accept what you don't, because that person you see on Instagram that has the ripped abs, that is likely genetics. You can do a million crunches, you can have the cleanest diet, but it may not ever lead to that outcome. So just sit with yourself, write down what you love about your body or yourself, like even your values, even your nature, things like that, things that are unique to you. Someone's healthy body version of healthy may look completely different to yours, and you could eat and train the exact same, but you're still going to look completely different. So try, and I know this is a work in progress for many of us, including me, but try to let go of the comparison and lean into what you do love. Number 9, always, always, always pair protein with your carbs. So if this is a banana, which is naturally high in sugar and carbs, still a good food source, don't just eat that on its own. Have a handful of nuts, have some yogurt. Or if you're having toast, don't just have butter on it. Have some cottage cheese or some peanut butter, or have it in a sandwich with some chicken. The reason for this is having carbs on their own really spikes our blood sugar, leading to more cravings later on. But if you can do something as simple as pairing the carbs with the protein, you're going to really lower that blood sugar spike, and it's going to have a more balanced mood, less cravings, better sleep, and just all round better gut health. Number 10, bread does not need to be avoided. Now, I wish I could go back to young 20-year-old Harriet who would only have bread at the weekend to treat herself. Bread, unless you are, celiac or gluten-free, which there are great alternatives out there for you, but it can actually be a really healthy component of your diet. It's a really good carrier. You can put things on it. You can put eggs, avocado, hummus, cottage cheese, you name it. It's a great carrier. It keeps you full. It's packed with fiber, obviously good quality sources of bread, but it does not have to be avoided. Carbs at all in general shouldn't be avoided because they are a really good source of fiber. So do not fear bread. Keep it in your diet and enjoy it. Keeping promises to yourself is the best way to build healthy confidence and self-belief. If you do what you said you were going to do, this is the best way to continue growing, to continue with that confidence building. The best way to do this is start really small. So if that is you want to get up earlier, start by setting your alarm 15 minutes earlier and being consistent with that for a month. It tends to take 21 days for a new habit to be formed or a new belief to be cemented in your brain. So this is achievable. Start small, start doing what you said you were going to do, and just watch things fall into place for you and watch that confidence build. Fitness is a way of life. It's not a shortcut to a goal. It's not punishment to, reach a certain aesthetic. The more you can weave fitness into your daily life, the better. I personally love to wake up and move my body straight away. So whether that's just a walk, whether that's yoga, or whether that's going to do a workout, I have to move that stagnant energy out of my body. It is the best way to do that. So try to, again, start small, but try to make fitness a way of life for you and not just something that you have to do. I like to do a workout in the morning and then I like to go for a walk in the afternoon. And I really try to shift that energy and just, not only is this going to help your body goals, but it's also going to make your mood better. I know personally that if something stresses me out, or I've got something on my mind, I'll go for a walk and I come back a completely different person. Number 13, good things take time. And as an Aries, I'm sure I've got some Aries in my community, it is literally in my nature to be impatient, but I have done so much work on myself over the years to really work with this trait. At the end of the day, if I wasn't impatient, I probably wouldn't get shit done because I like to get things quickly. I'm motivated. However, what I've learned is it's that ebb and flow, and it's learning to create a masterpiece as opposed to just rushing into something and ticking it off a list. Number 14, genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. So what I mean by this, you might be predisposed to certain medical conditions. You might have cancer in your family. You might have diabetes in your family. However, the way you lead your life is going to be the outcome of your health. It's not to say that, some healthy people can get cancer. That is obviously a different side of things. But you can control a lot of what your health outcomes are. So, exercising regularly, eating well, drinking enough water, minimizing your alcohol intake, not smoking, things like that are really going to support your overall lifestyle and protect you from contracting diseases and conditions as much as possible. Number 15, your environment is everything. You need to be able to wake up in the morning or come home from a day of work, walk into your space, walk into your home and feel like a big sense of relief, like a fresh air. I get this feeling, especially after my cleaner's been, I come home to a nice clean home. But this could be as small as your home office. If it's cluttered, like try to have a clear out, try to keep it clean. It's going to really lessen that load and that burden that's just cluttering your mind. And another example of this is moving to this apartment. I knew that I wanted to be somewhere in Dubai that was spacious, that had lots of greenery, that was in walking distance of parks and community. And yes, I had to pay a premium for that. But if you didn't live in Dubai, you wouldn't know about this area. So it's not packed with tourism. And I walk up my apartment every day and it just feels like a big breath of fresh air. So try to curate as best as you can the environment that really speaks to you, that really lights you up. That could be living in the countryside, or it could be in a really busy city. You'll know what truly lights you up. But I don't expect you now to go out and buy a new house, but you can make small changes to your living environment that help you feel more in alignment and more in tune with yourself and your authentic self. Number 16, journaling and vision boards can only get you so far. They are a great part of the manifestation process, and I'm a big fan. However, you really need to reprogram your mind. You need to unblock what is holding you back. So a way of doing this is through guided audios. I personally love to record my own audios, speaking it into the future as if it's already happened. And I personally believe that there's nothing more powerful than hearing yourself speaking out your goals. So do the journaling, do the vision boards, but constantly try to reframe and reposition your mindset through audio as well. And this also goes with what you listen to, what podcasts you listen to. Do you watch the news? What are you feeding your brain with every single day? Food for thought. Number 17, sleep on it. As someone that is emotionally driven, it's in my human design, I am much better when I've slept on things or just gone for a walk. Do not make rash decisions in the moment. If there's something you're even slightly not sure about, give yourself time. Honestly, a good example of this happened to me recently, where I had to write an email that I was dreading, and I wrote it out, and then I thought, I'm not going to send it yet because it's a sensitive topic. And I went for a walk, and on the walk, I wasn't even really thinking about it, but something dropped in where I was like, actually, you could position it in that way. That sounds a bit softer, that sounds a bit gentler, you're probably going to get a better response. So sleep on it or take yourself away from the situation, and I promise you, you will have even more perspective. Number 18, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. The universe is mirroring the version of you that you are showing up as. So if you have a goal or a dream in your future for yourself, you need to start showing up as your future self. And this can feel hard because if you have financial goals and you're looking at your bank account and you're saying, well, how can I be my future self if I only have X amount in my bank account? Again, start small. How would the wealthy version of you spend her morning? Would she drink out of a nice cup, not a chipped one with like faded imagery on it? Would she drink out of a nice glass, elegant cup? That is a small thing that won't cost you a lot of money. Would she have a slow start to the morning? Would she dress in a certain way? So it might be, instead of just going out and buying new clothes, you could have a bit of a clear out and just have a bit more of a capsule wardrobe and the things that you truly feel good in. Those are just small ways that you can step into your future self, because the universe is going to bring you what you're already showing up as, not just what you want in your mind. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. if you want to have a productive day. Again, I learned this the hard way. I used to think, and I still grapple with it a little bit, I used to think if I wake up later than 7, the whole day's ruined. I haven't got everything I needed to done. I haven't smashed a workout by 7. Honestly, when I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day, by like 2-3 o'clock, I was knackered and needing a nap. I was having more cravings. I had to be in bed by 9 p.m. and I was like rushing to get to bed because I was up so early. You can still have a really productive day, even if you're not part of the 5 a.m. club. So yeah, that's a big one. Sleep is so important, especially for women. Number 20, always be a student. I have resigned myself to the fact that I will never stop learning. I might take breaks from things here and there. I mean, the degree I'm doing at the moment, like, don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to that being over, but I will probably do some sort of course, later down the line at some point. I like it that way. I will never be too sure of myself and my ability to stop learning. I encourage you to also do the same. I know a lot of people that fall into careers And then when they have to then revive themselves through something new, they find it so hard to like get back into studying and reading and learning. So continue to just strengthen your memory and also just expand your mind into new areas. This doesn't have to be something academic. It could be like spirituality, it could be astrology, it could be manifestation. But don't ever think that you're fully qualified, because I'm a big believer in I will always be a student. Number 21, don't ever visit the supermarket when you're hungry. You're going to make some bad decisions. You're going to see some biscuits on offer and they are going to be going straight in your basket. Don't go hungry. Make sure you're well fed, or take a snack with you on the drive there. This is a big mistake I see with people. Also, you're going to buy things that aren't going to serve your food environment at home. So go full. Remove the junk food from your home. Try to create a food environment that is going to support you and not hinder your progress. I know if I put a jar of Nutella in my cupboard or a jar of Lotus, I'll probably be eating that every day, even if it's small. And I know that's not going to serve my health benefits. I would actually rather save myself in a way for going out on the weekend, maybe having a dessert, maybe having something that I wouldn't usually have. But my environment at home is going to serve me. The things I have in there that are high sugar are dark chocolate, or I mean not high sugar, but the things I have are chocolate, and I have Lotus biscuits, which I occasionally will put in some yogurt or on my breakfast. So have a little bit of a clean out, have a little bit of audit, and protect yourself to serve your future self. Number 23, stop checking your notifications as soon as you open your eyes. Either leave your phone on charge outside your bedroom, or keep it on Do Not Disturb like I do. I keep it on Do Not Disturb and I do not look at it until after I have got up, done my workout, and I've had at least 90 minutes in my own brain to actually fully wake up my body. This is the worst way to start your day if you're susceptible to sort of nervous system regulation, if you're sensitive to stress. I know that when I have done it here and there, I could look into a message from someone or an email from someone and be so much more sensitive to it, and then later on look at it and be like, why was I so worried about that? Please keep your notifications off. We are so switched on in society now. Protect that special time in the morning, that sacred time in the morning, as best as you can. Number 24, therapy is expensive, walking is free. Now, this is not to discredit therapy. Therapy is great and has so many benefits, but personally, I find that if things are stressing me out, if I'm having a moment, I can go out for a walk and come back a completely different person. So get into the habit of regulating yourself and not having to project onto others. Now, this doesn't go to say with coaching, when you're like working through certain things. I 100% obviously am an advocate for coaching and people helping you through things, but you can actually self-coach in many ways, through movement, through breath work, through journaling. So instead of, in stressful times, either emotionally dumping onto someone or using food, go for a walk, switch up your energy. It really works. Number 25, and you may not be able to relate to this one, but praying works. Honestly, whoever you're praying to, speaking aloud what you want, what you're hoping for, what you're working towards, if you want guidance from something, honestly works. It might take time, but trust me, if it's God, if it's the universe you're praying to, try to get into the habit of speaking aloud what you want. Get into a habit of being vocal with what you want. It honestly works. Like, I can't explain it. I don't know why it works. I can obviously take a guess. It's to do with energy, and it's to do with you sort of declaring that out loud as opposed to just ruminating in your brain. But it works. Trust me. Number 26, pizza and wine is equally as nourishing with your friends, is equally as nourishing as a salad and a matcha or a workout. Now, we need these times that we're switched off, we're disconnected, we're enjoying our food, speaking with friends, having that connection. That is just as healthy, obviously within reason. We don't want to be doing that every single day. Once a week, once every couple of weeks, that is equally as soul nourishing for you as all the stereotypically healthy things out there. So do not discredit them. Don't stop yourself from enjoying and letting your hair down every now and then, because we do need it. We definitely need it. Number 27 is discovering or learning where you get your energy from. So what I mean by this is, when you spend a lot of time socializing or in meetings at work, do you come back feeling really drained and like burnt out and tired? But when you're having a day, maybe working from home, maybe being quite creative, maybe being inward, do you feel recharged and energized, or just even resting at home? Personally, whilst I'm an extroverted introvert, whilst I love being around certain people, I don't do well in big groups at all. I go into myself. And I do feel more energized by, having quiet weekends back home, and then I feel ready to go into a new week, having recharged my batteries on my own. So try to just be conscious, be aware of where you get your energy from, and try to use that to your advantage. Number 28, do not settle. By saying yes to things that are below average or don't light you up, or that you're just settling for, you're signaling to the universe that that's what you're prepared for. That's what you're available for. Do not settle. If you've got that niggly feeling of, you're like, I don't think I should do this, or this isn't right for me, please, 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 please listen to it. Because by saying no, knowing that better things are coming for you in the future, that is the perfect way to stay in alignment with the universe. Number 29, stop overcomplicating every meal or every recipe and just choose whole foods. Above everything else, just choose things that are grown naturally. Potatoes, fish, meat, plants, veggies, fruit, veg. Just focus on your diet, 80 to 90% coming from whole foods, and stop overcomplicating it. Stop following all the trends. Just get really, really grounded in real food, and trust me, you cannot go far wrong. Number 30, last but not least, less is more. This comes down to so many things: in skincare routines, in mindset routines, in manifestation routines, in food and diet. Think about what really works for you. What moves the needle for you? What do you feel like is actually going to make a difference that you can stick to? Follow that, get clear. Don't get completely bamboozled by and shiny object syndrome, by all these different trends out there. Focus on what feels good for you and repeat, repeat, repeat. Thank you for watching my 30 lessons about wellness and manifestation I wish I learned sooner. I hope this helped you in a small way, in a big way. And here's to creating stronger bodies, healthier minds, and the wealthiest versions of us.